Hey everyone, my name is Marissa. Welcome to my divination channel. I always feel so honored to be sharing space with you guys in these types of containers and just in this vast and complex cosmos that we find ourselves in. If you've never been to my channel before, just a little bit about me. I have been working closely with my guides, my higher self, my future self, whatever you want to call it, since as long as I can remember in this life, to really understand the complexities of what is known as a soul's blueprint or a soul's plan. And I also assist others along their paths in really establishing themselves in what is unique to their nature, their soul signature. And in so doing, this is when we start to find and unlock true happiness and true fulfillment in this life. No matter how different it is inevitably going to look from our family, our friends, and just what the mainstream says is like what we need to do, what we need to align with, what we need to become in order to be happy. And so there's different methods and ways that I assist others in connecting with their innermost truth and aligning with that voice within, hearing the voice within in order to actualize this path and to actualize those light codes and to really own their expression and find a degree of freedom that many people can only dream of. And so tarot is one of those ways that I have been called to do that in this life, or to help other people achieve these things within themselves and externally as well. So these readings are really fun because these are mainly for those people that have a desire to not just embody their calling, but to see it in other areas of their life, specifically pertaining to a wellness business. And there's some of you that already have your businesses, you're already established, and this will be a good reminder or maybe something to help fine-tune your path or expand even more in what you're currently offering. And some of you have not even begun this journey. And it doesn't matter what level you're entering this from or where you're at on your personal journey, I feel like you'll be able to take away some really good nuggets from these readings. So enough with that, we'll get into the 5 aspects of each reading within each container. There are 3 piles for you to choose from today. You can go ahead and pause the video if you need to, and whenever you're feeling ready, we're gonna hop right into your reading. Hello, my friends. Welcome to this reading today. I'm super excited to offer this to you guys. I've been wanting to just offer some readings that offer like deeper and really practical insight in terms of how you guys can actualize more of your dharma in all areas of your life. You know, dharma is not necessarily just one thing that we do. However, I do know the feeling of frustration when it seems like you kind of have to compartmentalize yourself, and there's aspects of yourself that you can't bring into like your career fully or into like family life fully, okay? And the path that I feel like we're all on, the people especially drawn to this channel, are beings that are called to embody their dharma all the time in all different areas. And this is the time on the planet where we need leaders of new earth, and with more and more people like having their awakenings and just now waking up, you know, there are services and tools and learnings that they will need. And a lot of you guys are ready to provide that. So this is more of like a deep dive into like your wellness business or like your side hustle, okay? And so there are 5 different aspects that we're getting into today. I'll get into that as the reading goes along. You can stay here or you can skip into where the reading actually begins. But I've been really enjoying just leaving the shuffling parts in these readings. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to dive into what is your purpose and your calling. So for those beings that are drawn to this pile, the overseers and the guides of those souls that are incarnate currently and that will be drawn to this pile, what is their purpose and calling, please? What is their purpose and calling? Those beings overseeing the souls drawn to this video. What is their purpose and calling in this life? Okay. All right, next we're going to get into how can group number 1 bring their calling into business? If that is on the table, how can pile 1 bring their calling into business, please? How can group 1 bring their calling into business, please? Okay, anything else? Talking about one, bring your calling into business. All right. Next, the question is, what products and services can this group offer? What types of products and services could this group offer? What types of products and services? Anything else? Products and services. Okay. Next, we are asking, what is it that this group should focus on the next 1 to 2 months? What is it this group should focus on the next 1 to 2 months, please, Spirit? Should they focus on the next 1 to 2 months, please? All right. And lastly, we would like to know, what is the future potential of this business or the side hustle? What is the future potential for this group? What is the future potential of this business or side hustle? What is the future potential of this business? Anything else? This one and this one. Okay. All right, these are here for clarification, and let's get started. Okay, so what is group number 1's purpose and calling in this life, please? We have karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. And next we have lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. I love this. This is so beautiful. So honestly, the first thing that I'm hearing is growing through challenge and adversity, and, you know, I guess like welcome to earth. But there is something in particular here about, I do feel like it's like working with people in some way, and that there's people that you are here to work with on a karmic level. So contracts, so to speak, that were made before you took birth. And I'm hearing that it's very essential that, you know, more and more, because a lot of you guys are already dabbling in this. Some of you guys already have businesses and already have careers in the wellness industry that is really aligned to your purpose. So everyone's going to be coming in at this at a different level, and I just want to honor that. But I do want to say that, you know, there's people that are kind of relying on you. This is something that has been becoming more clear to me as the days, the weeks, the years go on, is that if there were certain key players that hadn't stepped into their purpose and hadn't owned their calling and just like gone through all of the challenges that go along with that, like outgrowing relationships and family, even friends, if they hadn't done that, then, you know, I would still be in a certain degree of illusion or confusion, you know? So we do each hold like very significant puzzle pieces for other people. And so there's a lot here about being able to maybe even being a psychic in some sort of way, or utilizing your psychic intuition or just your intuition. There's so many ways that can look, but it's where you are helping people, aiding people in some sort of way, getting more clear on why they're here, getting more clear on the nature of reality, right? Understanding the human experience and the spiritual purpose behind the human experience, and helping to understand their relationships and their trials and tribulations, and how that was meant to set them up in some sort of way in this life, you know, setting the soul blueprint, you know, early incarnational experiences, tough childhood kind of stuff. So this could be a mentor, this could be a coach, this could be working with like at-risk youth, this could be just in some way helping people get more clear about the true nature of reality. And it doesn't mean that you're necessarily like talking about, you know, from the soul level, talking about stuff like the soul's plan, the soul's blueprint, spirit guides, all of that. But it could be something as simple as like people are experiencing some sort of discomfort in their day-to-day life, like polarity, conflict, and truth, unveiling truth little by little, because it's not all going to happen at once, right? Unless you're like having a super psychedelic plant medicine or breathwork type of experience. But even then, the veil is not lifted completely, right? That's not the point of this game, but it's like helping people, like lifting the veil little by little. And so more and more people's experience becomes a bit more free. It becomes a bit more relaxed, a bit more fun, right? And so in some way, I feel like you're helping to do this. And it could be energy work, but could even be yoga or like fitness or something. But truly, I feel like a big part of your purpose and your calling is helping like holistically the planet at this time. And like your soul has done this before. Your soul is familiar with the process of like this stage in humanity. I feel there's a certain degree of like readiness and preparation that you've had for this lifetime. And yeah, I am getting the sense that is intense in some cases. You might even be like an intense person. Even if you wouldn't like think, or other people wouldn't call you intense, I feel like there's just an intensity about your desire to know the truth in this life. And, you know, that's what is required in order to lift the veil, is a certain degree of like intensity, right? A certain degree of Rajasic energy of like wanting to break free of those, like the heaviness and the dullness of that sometimes this life can offer when we're not asking those deeper questions that bring us into a state of clarity. Okay, so moving on, I feel like by now you guys could really know if this is your group today. How can you bring this calling into your business? We have yin and we have chaos and conflict. Look at that. You have the word conflict literally twice. So there's something here about your guides really reiterating the fact that you're not doing something wrong if it seems like the deeper you go into yourself, like there's no such thing as, and maybe there is, I don't know. I don't want to say there's no such thing, but from where I stand, it's very rare that being on earth at this time, we're not going to experience some sort of conflict in our relationships. So I'm getting the sense that right away, the guides are already saying that don't be disheartened when people test you. Because the more that you start to show up as an authority in these fields, because your soul is an authority in this, and whatever it is that you want to bring, and your calling overall, again, the calling stays the same. How it manifests can definitely change. All right. But my intention was to like give you guys useful, grounded tools to just at least get started in that direction, or to confirm the direction that you're already going if you're already on this path, right? But they're saying that when you show up as an authority, people are going to test you, right? Especially when it's like you show up with this type of confidence. And I've seen this my whole time, right? And it gets easier to handle it. People just like trying to question you, or like not even question you, but I know I had someone on, this is a great example, on Facebook the other day. I like shared a story from my heart, and I don't share too much of like how I really see the nature of reality on Facebook, because it's mainly like family and friends that I grew up with. And it's like, know your audience, you know who you're talking to. I really come like, the veil is very lifted and very thin in how I see the nature of reality on like TikTok, YouTube, obviously, and like Instagram. And so I just dabbled around with like sharing something that I wouldn't normally share on Facebook. I shared it like from my Instagram, and sure enough, someone came and she was like very condescending and rude about her approach and kind of questioning. She like asked a question, but it wasn't in a way that I felt like she really wanted to know the answer. It was like trying to prove a point. And so, I ended up responding to her question, and I was like, hey, like, I'm not always so sure if people are like genuinely interested in knowing the answer to these things, or if they're trying to prove a point. Like I really just said like how I felt about it. And, but like, here's what I see, or here is how I see this thing. And so that kind of thing, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen more and more, where you show up as an authority and you kind of rub people the wrong way because you've actually done the work in this life. You are doing the work to lift the veil more and more, and not to just like take at face value. And this is not judging religion or anything, but like take face value, like what's written in like one book, and not like exploring, okay, what's the truth in all different types of books or something like that. Like you're really deep diving and questioning everything, right? And so that can bring a certain degree of conflict. And so maybe there is even something in your expression, and like, because this section is like how to bring that calling into your business, of like being okay with knowing that what you talk about and what you express and what you do might cause people that you grew up with to look at you different, or like look at you weird, or be like, who does this person think that they are, because you speak with such an authority, or you express with such an authority. Okay. And to be okay with like the internal conflict and the internal dissonance that might kick up at first. Because yeah, when that happened, like, I don't know, I'm used to people on like TikTok sometimes, like social media, when you don't really know someone, and it like doesn't sting the same way as when it's like someone and they're just like being very condescending and like rude, And so just knowing that's part of the path, and nothing anyone ever does to us ever has anything to do with us, okay? Ever, you know, and it's always a reflection of their state of beingness. So keeping that in mind too. Yeah, but I want to get a little bit deeper in terms of how to bring this in. There is something here about really utilizing your intuition as you bring this into business. Oh yeah, and there's another message here about it might change a lot, or it's not, it might not go like, it might not be like an overnight success or go as how you think it should have gone. And it might create this type of like doubt in yourself as you continue on this path, or if you like are just beginning, or just saying that, you know, bringing this calling into business is not going to feel like you had all the answers up front, and it's taking a lot of trial and error, and like it's like imposter syndrome and having to work through that, and like, you know, starting it and then stopping it. I'm excited one day about it, I'm not excited the next day. So just being aware that that's part of the process. Okay, so how to bring this calling into business. Doing it for the right reasons, knowing, like, carrying yourself with this type of authority because you know it's what you're here to do, is kind of like such a like safe bet, honestly. Especially in the beginning, I really had to see this, and I still do, but I really had to remind myself this is a divine assignment. Again, because there's other people in some way that you're affecting by stepping more fully into your calling in a way that is even more like large scale and in each other's faces. So a lot of things here reiterating karma and balancing karmic scales, and knowing that you're showing up for your divine assignments, and this is just the right thing to do, right? The Hermit. Yeah. So there was this thing about that I was already seeing about going into meditation and like asking this question, going to meditation. So, and asking, and I do this, like I've done this for my whole entire, like, I guess, wellness business or like spiritual career. Like all of the greatest ideas that I've had that have like really springboarded me into like greater levels of like tangible success, and however, you know, I define it might be different than you, but I received it in meditation. And so I was getting that with this yin kind of high priestess energy as well. And so that's something else too. And that might, of course, bring a certain degree of conflict to your system, because a lot of our life we're conditioned and reminded that it can't be that easy. It can't just come to me, right? And there's something here too about like, I don't know if you know your human design, and I don't really know too much about it, but I do know that I'm like a generator. And this is probably just a symbolic meaning here of like generators. Things just come to them, right? They're just like put out this frequency and things come to them, opportunities. And it's like important to use your gut and be like, like, yes, that's for me. No, it's not for me. Whereas manifestors like have to go out and like do it, make it happen. I feel like this is really saying a big part of like how to bring this into business is like you're receiving it and you get ideas, and it's up to you to be like, yes or no. Like, is this in alignment? Is it not? Right. And, yeah, that's really fun. Like, that's definitely been my journey in this, is like, okay, yeah, let's dabble, let's explore. That sounds good. This feels good. And it hasn't really felt like a big strain. You know, the biggest strain of it is like, again, overcoming my own, like ideas of how it should pan out, and just the imposter syndrome that can be there along the way, but it totally, like, those scales eventually tip. Next we have Page of Wands. So having like a curiosity, the page, like, too, this is like, has so many different ideas, right? There's so many different creative ventures it could take. So I feel like a big part of this is like giving yourself permission in terms of how to bring it into business, like trying a bunch of different new things. And if anyone's followed my journey, they would have seen that. I tried, like, I was doing jewelry for a while. Again, my calling didn't change, but how it expressed itself did, before you really feel like you've locked into something. And so this is giving yourself permission to really continue to explore, no matter how long you've been in a field for. To keep things fresh and to keep that life force like fresh in everything that you're doing, including your expression, including your business, you know? So like giving yourself permission to like explore different things that excite you, especially as you're on the path of becoming more and more clear of like your intuition and like, okay, yes, this felt like a yes, or like I wasn't really sure and I tried it and it actually was a yes. Like, what was it about me? Like, what was it about this thing that I felt like I was unsure about, you know, like having that curiosity and that exploration. Next, we have Eight of Pentacles. So yeah, knowing it's going to take some time, right? How to bring it into business, one foot after another. Don't get lost in like the ending and just be present for the journey and the unfolding, because that's like what it's about, you know, like rushing to the end, you know, just like what for what? It really is this beautiful unfolding, and more you're just like, you can just, it helps you trust just life in general, you know. We have the 10 of Wands, and interesting, we have 2 Justice cards, right? I don't take out any of the extra cards in this deck, but they have 2 Strength, 2 Justice, because, you know, those numbers are sometimes flipped. And then we also have like 3 Lovers cards, and one of the Lovers has like 2 men, one of them has 2 women, and then one has like a hetero couple. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I feel like overall this is really saying that, you know, how to bring this calling into business is you're gonna feel like it's kind of like going back and forth, right? You're like teeter-tottering between, I know what I'm here for, this is the right thing, and feeling like you don't really know what you're doing, and like, what am I doing? Where is this leading me? And knowing that that's a part of the process. Again, that chaos and conflict, okay? So some points in the journey, you're like, this is it, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, yes, I'm here. And some points, bringing this into, and like establishing yourself, and, you know, especially if it's like you've left your 9 to 5 and this is what you're doing full time, knowing you're going to have those moments and not letting it kind of weigh you down, not letting it become this like, this thing, you know, this like looming energy over you, and just knowing, oh yeah, that's part of the process. And yeah, you're here to put in some work. Honestly, I feel like it's going to test you. It's going to bring a lot out of you in terms of like, why is it so easy for this person, or why did it work this way for this person? But it's really about just trying, you know, and putting in the effort, not expecting it to be easy, especially in the beginning, but knowing that load will lighten as time goes on. So next, we're stepping into what products and services can you offer? What types of products and services can you offer? We have conjunction alliance. So you're working with people. I saw that from the beginning. So it's like a service, I feel like, that you're offering. This could even say a product for sure. But working with people similar in a similar field as you. Conjunctions are really great because it's like really just people like being in their own energy, and it's a really powerful union, a conjunction. So, excuse me, you're working with soulmate clients is what I'm hearing. You're working with people that are like really get you. You're working with other people in your field that when you guys come together, it's like sparks are flying in the multiverses kind of thing. Let's get a little bit deeper. We have second house resources. So what products and services? I do feel like, yeah, I mean, this is like the ultimate combination for you're putting out a product, you're putting out a service, and you're getting paid for it. Okay, so let's get a little bit deeper of how this is supposed to look. What else can you tell us about these products and services that group 1 can offer? Okay, let's see. We have the Queen of expressing, you're speaking about something, you're talking, you're using your voice in some sort of way. I was hearing something about like a podcast that could be a confirmation for some of you guys. A podcast, creating videos, releasing videos, like interviews with other people in your field. Again, something about coaching, mentoring is what this reminds me of. Yeah, but it's like, it's really in your element. And I feel like the reiteration here is it's just confirmation of, you know, whatever it is that you've already been, but that feels natural to you. So for example, I've always, from as long as I could remember, have been the person that people sought advice from. Oh, like so young. I was always the person that people went to for like grounded advice. And even when I look back on like some of the advice I was giving when I was young, like I could feel the power behind my words. That kind of thing. So in some way, I knew that was like a big part of my soul's calling, and just having a like strong Mercurian energy in my chart, right? Being able to hear the voice of the divine and then expressing it in my own unique way, you know? So it's something that feels very natural to you, that I feel like has something similar, that you've always kind of been good at it. I do feel like in some way, it's like you're working with people and you're getting paid very well, or it's really taking care of you like very well. People are literally exchanging money to be in your field, to be in your healing energy, to be in your wisdom, to receive your guidance kind of thing. We have temperance. Yeah, more about that healing. Let's see. High priestess again coming through. And I just want to make sure you can see this. The Knight of Wands. So you're bringing healing through your unique connection to the divine. There's something that is like, again, the calling stays the same. How it expresses itself may change, but I'm going to focus more on the calling in this case, because the products and services, I feel like you guys already know what it is you're supposed to be doing, or you've already been getting ideas of what it is. And a big part of your calling, again, is something like you're offering a very healing service. It even could be like herbology, or something that helps people calm the elements within themselves so they can like hear their divine wisdom much better. An example of that is like in Ayurveda, we learn that we all have our own unique prakriti, our own unique constitution, like makeup of elements. And if the elements are not grounded, if they're like too heightened in our field, it actually becomes really hard for us to be in a state of clear and balance. And when we're not in that sattvic balanced state, it's hard for us to hear the wisdom of our soul. And so an example is like helping to heal people through herbs, or we learn in Ayurveda, if you have a very fiery constitution like myself, you want to stay away from spicy foods, and you want to like hear certain herbs that you can use on a daily basis to help cool the fire. So, there's not a lot of anger or like bursts of anger or, judgment, these things that can block us from having a more divine experience. And so there's something here about wisdom, right? And just like bringing people back into balance and harmony. These products and services might evolve over time. Like you might offer it at a certain price point, and then it like, as you become more confident in what it is that you're offering, your price point is lifting. You're like, okay, I can get behind this now. And as it becomes, more of, you gain more expertise, that's something that, your price point lifts as well, right? Just the experience, the amount of change, the amount of like, what is it called? Like, oh my gosh, testimonies people have from being in your work. But yeah, I do feel like it's group work, or like, it's like you one-on-one, or you like one to many kind of thing. And there's something here about people seeking your wisdom, right? This is self-sourced wisdom is what the high priestess really represents. Your unique connection to the divine really utilizing you as a vessel. And that's something you can even feel when you're doing this. You're like, wow, this is like not me. This is really like something is working through me, is utilizing, my vessel to bring healing to the planet. Okay, so next it's what to focus on the next 1 to 2 months. We have trust in the unknown and trust your instincts. Yeah, it's so interesting because I was already feeling, okay, I was like asking the guides, I was like, well, that didn't really give us much, that didn't give us much tangibility. And the biggest part of this is because the field that you're in and what your path is really about in this wellness business, and what you're here to bring to the planet really is about you trusting your own inner guidance and not seeking external guidance. With the hermit is self-sourced wisdom. The high priestess is your direct connection, self-sourced wisdom. The hierophant is like wisdom sought without, wisdom gained without. The high priestess is wisdom gained within. Okay. And we have trust in the unknown and trust your instincts. Okay. So I was feeling that up here. I was like, okay, we're not really, I want to give them tangible things, but they're like, well, this is a part of what their business is. This is a part of what you're here to do. And in some way it utilizes your psychic capacity. It utilizes your capacity to really trust what you gain and to become your highest sense of authority. And, sometimes people can we can hear things that, really elevate us, but it should never be telling us something new. It should always be like, just giving us more fuel, like adding more fuel to the fire that already exists within us. So there's so much here about just trusting where you're led. The next 1 to 2 months, like really just exploring different things, deepening in your intuition. By, the Page of Wands energy was like, okay, there's so many different things that I can do. All of this feminine energy is like ideas just come to you. You have a lot of ideas, but it's really investing in 1 or 2 directions, if you're not already, and leaning into that. And if you've already been doing this some time, like continuing to stretch yourself, continuing to like offer new things, right? There were a couple cards here that talked about consistently, like not getting comfortable, all right? Consistently like stretching yourself. So what you're offering is scalable, and it's not like set in stone. It's not like if you're like, when I was teaching fitness at a studio, that wasn't very scalable, it's like I had a set amount that I was able to make and couldn't really go beyond that. And so, the thing about being your own boss or like this type of thing, and the beauty of the internet is like a lot of this stuff can become really scalable to where, again, I was getting that vision of like, yeah, maybe sometimes you're working one-on-one with people, but sometimes you can be offering services where you're working one to many. And so like a lot of people are showing up in one container, and you're just, utilizing that much energy. But what's reciprocated is a lot, because it's a lot of people, that kind of thing. Okay, so really trusting your instincts, trusting where you're guided, trusting if you're like have been leaning in a new direction in terms of wanting to explore something, or investing in yourself in some sort of way, investing in like education, that's really going to help aid this. Like, me signing up for this breathwork course and this meditation course, it was something I already knew intuitively, and like, my soul has experience in, but I just wanted to be more versed in the science and the technique. Right. And so that's just adding into my value and what I'm able to bring. So consistently adding into your own value, right? And trusting where you're led. Okay. So what is the future potential of this business? We have Six of Swords. So it's like, there's no turning back. Also, what's beautiful about the Six of Swords is there are 6 swords put into the boat. So it's like, he can't take out the swords. Like, he's got to keep going. And this also indicates leaving a time of like, again, it's that kind of chaotic energy. He's like leaving the 5 of Swords. He's leaving the battlefield and choosing to go towards more harmonious horizons, right? But there's a sense of things turning out better than you expected. Next, we have the 6 of Cups. So more of that 6 energy. So working with soul family. I mean, this is like, absolutely, this is like a nostalgia. It feels like what you're meant to do. Like, it feels like I was born to do this, right? Is the energy that I'm picking up with this. Next, the Fool. Yeah, so I feel like the future potential is really just saying, it's like, it feels magical. It feels like things are just getting better. It feels like, pinch me. Is this really my life? And that is possible. I promise that's possible. That's something that is happening to me more and more. And naturally, I'm around more and more people where it's like that, where, it's like, I'm not saying that the money is what's most important, but for some people, it's definitely part of their blueprint. And so like being around people where they are making like 7 figures, doing this type of work, having a wellness business, changing people's lives. So really feeling like nothing can stop you. And that, this is like the ultimate trust. The Fool card is like the ultimate card of like trusting in the unknown and trusting one's instinct, knowing they're going to be taken care of. So the future potential, we have 3 of Cups, celebration. Again, there's so much here about soul family, the people that you're going to meet, you guys, and that maybe you have already met some of them, but I'm hearing you're going to meet some of your best friends in this lifetime by doing this work. Again, there was that notion of like, there's people waiting for you at every stage that you're at, but there's people waiting for you to step more into your power, because you guys are meant to do powerful work. Some people that are going to be part of your business in some way, that you're going to work with, that you guys are going to offer services together. You're going to find them through the work you're already offering, and that you eventually will offer. Yeah, 4 of Wands, celebration. This is like a homecoming. Nothing can get in my way, right? There's so much here about just like being in love with the process, right? Going after what you want. Nothing can stop me, right? This is so beautiful. This is like really excited type of energy, but also really focused too on love. Focus on like, with that justice energy coming up so much, I feel like maybe one of your biggest inhibitions is like, I don't want to be one of those people that charges thousands of dollars for, and like is taking someone's money away. And that's not how to look at it. How to look at it is like you need to survive. You have kids, maybe you have family, you have needs, you need to fuel your body and your life in a certain way so you can show up for your dharma. And so in this day and age on the planet, that costs money, and so being okay with like charging what you're worth, and knowing that it kind of gets everyone in this state of like higher expectation of what they can create. It gets everyone in this energy of like creating a different relationship to money, truly. And so it really is a gift to everyone, because I had to spend a pretty penny for my container, and I was like, oh my God, like it just creates such a different relationship to money, and a really powerful and positive one. And yeah, you want the people that like are really changing your life, like you want to exchange energy. You want to be like, yes, oh my gosh, like at first I was like, okay, this is like kind of a lot, or this is just like, you know, stretching me. And then I got there and I was like, oh my God, the value of this is beyond what I paid for. And so I was like grateful, you know, for paying as much as I did for the breath and meditation certification is what I'm talking about. So that kind of thing, like, I feel like your relationship to even like paying other people and to getting paid, like you just see it as this reciprocity and this, you know, this beautiful dance. And last but not least, we have the Two of Cups. I always wonder like what's going to come up when I just like am holding one card for a while, but I feel like you're going to meet some, like there's soulmates that are waiting for you. There's like deep soul bonds that are highlighted by this connection, right? And might even meet like your person and the person that you're meant to be like with in this life. But I do see this being very harmonious. I do see you leaving with best friends, like, and leaving and being on this journey where it feels like a constant celebration, where things are just getting better and better. It's turning out better than you expected. And you feel like there's no question that you are doing what you're meant to do. Like we have this warm embrace of the lovers in, you know, the beginning of the journey. And so everything that you feel that is like too good to be true, it's meant to happen for you. Things that you're like, could that really happen? It is. And it's really about trusting and being in love with the journey along the way. And I do see so much like good from this, whatever it is that you guys are doing in your own unique way. I would say continue to lean into it. You know, continue to just be open and being receptive to those messages, meditating more, you know, breathing more, breathing with me. I still have a couple slots open. Maybe by the time this is posted, you know, check it out, you know, to breathe with me, because that's when breathing and meditation are meant to go together, and it clears the channel between your higher mind and your experience of yourself. And so you can become more clear. It deepens your intuition, right? And so, wow, this is so beautiful. There's so much goodness in store. Okay, out of all the cards that exist in tarot, there's like so much goodness in store, and it's really highlighted by like relationships. It's really highlighted by the people in your life and being so fulfilled, right? And just knowing that this is what I'm here to do. Retreats, that kind of thing, that feeling that you get when you're in a retreat or when you leave a retreat, it's like you're meant to live that all the time, right? Okay, so I'm gonna leave this here for now. If this was your reading today, leave a cup. Leave your favorite cup. Leave like the glasses cheering, because that's what I see in store. It's like, wow, guys, we're doing this. We're on this journey together, the spiritual journey. We're elevating. We're doing this together. You know, that's such a beautiful place to be in. Like this video, and I hope to see you on my channel soon. Much love. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. This is all about your wellness business. Even if it's not a business, like your side hustle or just the thing that you do that allows you to embody even more of your soul's calling. Now, I'm very aware that our calling has very little to do with what we're doing, and it's all about what we're being. And honestly, what we do can change a lot in an incarnation, but where we're coming from can be actualizing on our soul's blueprint and on our calling, our soul's signature, our soul's plan for being here, right? Because nothing is set in stone. Nothing is static on this plane. Everything is just, you know, up in the air, but there are certain timeline probabilities that we were aware would be stronger or more likely to occur in our field. Okay, so this is mainly to support those that are really wanting to align even more, because sometimes on this path we can compartmentalize, right? We can have like our spiritual self, our spiritual side that we keep to ourselves, and then all other areas kind of feel disconnected. All right, and so this is for those beings that want to, you know, fully live this in all areas, and to even potentially see if it's in the cards, literally, to have this manifest in a way where full-time your calling is also your vocation. So that's my intention for this, to support you guys in that. And I'm going to get throughout the reading, we'll touch on each aspect of this spread. So if you just want to jump into the reading, go ahead and, find that in the description box. Otherwise, you can stick around. I've already connected with the guides that are overseeing those group of souls that will be drawn to this group today. And we're going to go ahead and get started jumping right into it. So first, we're starting spirit. So for the overseers, the guides of those beings that will be drawn to this group, what is their purpose and calling? Please, what is their purpose and calling? For those souls that will be drawn to this group, please tell us what is their purpose and calling. Clear, concise, accurate messages, please. Anything else wants to come through? What is their purpose and calling, please, Spirit? Okay. Next, we are asking, how can group number 2 bring this calling into their business or into business, even if they haven't already? How can they bring this into business, this calling? Okay, the card wants to come up. Next, what products or services could group number 2 offer in this business or side hustle or this vocation? What products or services could they offer, please? Clear, concise, accurate messages. What products are, okay, take that. Next, we are asking, let's see. Oh, did I totally okay, so I think I messed up the shuffling. Products and services. Okay, we're going to put this, this was this. We're going to put this here. What to focus on the next 1 to 2 months. What to focus on the next 1 to 2 months, please. I have a certain order written down in my notes, so it'll throw me off if it's out of order from what's in my notes to what's actually on the table. So, okay. And lastly, what is the future potential of this business, please? What is the future potential of this vocation, this business for group number 2? Future potential, please. Okay, is there anything else you would like pile 2 to know, Spirit? Overseers, awesome. Okay. Just that last little Prince of Pentacles wanted to come out. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, what is your purpose and calling? Again, knowing that this is not just one little tiny thing, right? It's very layered. Okay, so this will be a good indication for you guys if this is your pile or not, okay? Because you should be able to feel this and tune into this. So, what is pile number 2's purpose and calling in this life? We have You're Not Alone. So, what was that noise? Oh, it's my dog. Sorry, I just heard whining. Okay, so a big part of your purpose is community. A big part of this, what you're doing, I see you guys working with other people in some way, something to do with, you guys could even be interested in Reiki or just dealing with the energetics of life. Or what I mean by that is the subtle nature of reality is very real for you guys, and learning how to tap into the subtle energy field and healing on that, very holistic level, on a spiritual level, spiritual healing kind of thing, working with people one-on-one, group settings. I'm seeing something about even maybe a meditation teacher or yoga teacher, someone that is helping other people in some way to go within themselves, coaches, etc. We have messenger, serious energy, so bringing harmony and balance. Yeah, so that is really confirming more of this teacher energy that I was getting. What I love about this card in particular is the throat chakra is illumined. And so I really do feel you guys have the power and the potential with your words and your voice and your expression, whether that's written or whether it is spoken, to really move people and to make people feel like they have somewhere to belong, that they are wanted, that they have a purpose, that I'm seeing someone that is speaking life into people's lives and reminding them why they're here, right? Serious energy is like Mercurian energy, right? I always think of the messenger of the gods when I see this. So it's like you're doing God's work, right? Whatever that means for you in your own unique way. But this is a very unique kind of expression I'm seeing. So it's not like cookie cutter, you know, it's not like where it doesn't sound like regurgitated what it is you're doing. It's very unique, okay? It's very like you're very set apart, and you really stand out in a unique way. But I feel like overall, let's get a little bit deeper before I go too much on this tangent, but I do feel like overall you are here to help create like new kinds of understanding, a new kind of understanding of Earth and of what we are capable of as humans, and to live this life where you are really embodying and you are like a role model of new Earth codes, which is like we don't have to change or trade our entire lives just to survive. Like that's so archaic, you know, and like this is everyone's planet. So like why the hell do we have to are we answering to like a select few of people that do not have our best interest at the end of the day, you know? Like I'm getting very visionary, like Aquarian age type of energy from this. So someone that is really here for the people, here for humanity, and that wants the best for everyone, right? There's a lot here about equality and sharing tools of growth and sharing tools of how to get in alignment with the soul, that kind of thing, and how to heal the soul, how to restore the soul is what I'm seeing here. So is there anything else we need to know, please? Can you give us any more details, Spirit, about the purpose and calling? What is the purpose and calling of group number 2, please? Okay, yeah, so there's more about community. That's really highlighted here. I want you guys to see that that's extremely highlighted. So in some way, do you feel like there's something here about you make people feel very at home? You make, again, that was coming through, like you make people feel like they belong somewhere, and your power is in being around people in person. You know, the internet is awesome. However, there's something here about working face to face with people, or at least real time with people, and just, yeah, I'm seeing someone like on stages or like hosting workshops or something like that. But you really bring like-minded people together and make everyone feel like they have a home, and that they belong here. And there was more of this energy. I was seeing, you know, something about going in, right? So you're helping people turn their gaze within. You're helping people to understand why they are here. Yeah, this is so beautiful. Justice. So doing the right thing. Right? There's so much here about like helping people to move through their karma by seeing that they have, like, that they are empowered. You're helping to restore people's faith in them, in their own selves. You're helping to show them that they have what it takes to become this person within that they feel that they are, but maybe don't know how to get there. And maybe even some of you guys feel like that's the spot that you're in. Like, I feel like I have this power within that I don't know how to unleash. And one of the reasons why you're going through this phase is because you are going to help other people in some way. Whether that be like growth in business or growth in your wellness, or, you know, a combination of all different types of things. Like, you're really here for the people and putting humanity first and doing the right thing. And I'm getting this sense of like feeling like the systems have kind of like betrayed humanity. And so there's a lot here about, okay, well then, you know, if they're not going to do it, then I'm going to, you know, someone that is really here advocating for people to actually win. We have the Four of Swords, a lot about reflection. We have the Chariot, and we have strength. Okay, so strength is like both these. This is like the masculine and the feminine aspect of like meeting many obstacles and knowing that nothing can stand in your way. This is like internal obstacles. This is like external obstacles. So I feel like a big part of your purpose and calling, again, is like the codes that I'm seeing here is someone that is able to help other people just like in life. Like, and there's so many different ways that this can apply, but you're just someone that whatever you're speaking and whatever way you're communicating this to people, you help people feel that they can overcome anything. And in some way, I feel like you are helping people to overcome their demons, to overcome their challenges, and to see how it really is a game of the mind. It's a game of the nervous system, if anything. And again, that came through in the beginning, something about soul retrieval. Yeah, and this is really powerful. Okay, there's so much here about putting the power back into other people's hands. And yeah, helping people to take time to reflect. And like the thing that's coming through so strongly about meditation, I feel like it's very symbolic for being like, you have everything that you need within you. Now, how do we like actualize this? How do we like take it just from being this thing, this world that exists within us, and how do we start to see it externally? And so in some sort of way, I feel like you're teaching on this, you're speaking on this, you're just at least helping to unlock that power, or to help people connect with that wellspring of guidance within themselves, so that they are able to, you know, take the steps so it can unfold naturally. Okay, so how to bring this into business. Let's see. We have why, and we have serendipity. So this is really like taking a chance, okay? And some of you guys, I'm hearing that you have so many different ideas of like things that you could do. And so I think what's throwing you off, group number 2, a little bit, is that there's like, maybe you've like tried so many different things, or you don't really know where to start because you have so many different ideas. But I'm hearing what's going to really help fine tune like what to stick with and to execute on is like asking your why. So like, for example, me investing in a breathwork and meditation course recently was super easy because my why is helping people to connect with themselves. It's a very similar purpose to you, right? Of course, like we're like attracts like. We're gonna, you know, we're in this journey together. And so, you know, tarot does that. That's a no-brainer. And also breath and meditation are the ultimate tools that we have to do that, right? And so that was a really easy investment for me to make, and goes kind of, it flows holistically in what my calling is, right? It was to help people understand karma, understand why they're here, understand their soul's blueprint, understand they can trust themselves. And so I'm hearing that once you get really clear on your why, making decisions is going to be so much easier for you. Okay. And so how to bring it into business, it's really just knowing that it's never a matter of if, it's always when. And I'm the biggest testament to this, okay? I'm a walking testimony of this. It's like, there are so many times I probably could have thrown in the towel because things weren't happening as quickly for me as they were. Maybe I was watching other people, my peer group, like things happen for them. But it was never something I ever truly considered, because this is where my heart is at. This is my calling, you know? And so when you're that locked in and when you're that sure of what you're here to do, it's like you have the chariot and the strength. It doesn't matter what happens externally. It doesn't matter what happens internally. You know this is what you're here to do. And so it's never a matter of if, it's always a matter of when. Okay, and so that's just like a tidbit for you to remember as you carry on this path. So how to bring this into business. How to bring this into business for group number 2, please, Spirit. Clear, concise, accurate messages. How can they bring this into business? Let's see. Anything else? Ace of Wands. So there's more following that passion, okay? The serendipity is kind of giving me similar energy as the Ace of Wands. But this is really following through. And I'm hearing too, you guys might have something to where you get an inspiration and then it fizzles out. And just that's part of it, especially the fire element, which is all about creativity. That's how fire works, okay? And if it's really in alignment with your why, it's like, just keep doing it, right? And especially if it's something new, something that you haven't really done, and maybe there's some imposter syndrome, like, you've done this before. This is literally in your soul's blueprint. It's what you're meant for. You know, and so you're going to have what you need when you need it, right? Your expertise will grow as you go along the way. But I am hearing there's something about sometimes you guys will like get a spark of passion or a spark of excitement, and then it will fizzle out. That's part of the strength. That's the internal obstacle, is knowing that is part of these types of journeys. But when you're really connected to your why, you're always going to keep coming back to it. That's the calling. You always keep coming back to it. Okay, so this is following those things that light you up. This is following those timelines that are like, this would be so dope if, like me, it would be so dope if I could read cards and get like, you know, passive income from this, or if I could work with people on a level that it, like, I feel like actually matters. And this is not me dogging anyone else. Again, I'm just speaking from my own perspective and my own alignment to my integrity. But like, you know, working on this level with people, I'm like, this would be so dope if, and it's happening, you know, and it's continuing to expand the more that I just follow those those points of excitement, understanding my why, how that falls into the overall picture of my calling, and letting it carry me where it will. You know, she's like being carried away by this 4-leaf clover. Luck is on your side, truly. Next, we have the devil. So it's not, again, it's not letting those like little devils in your head get the best of you. It's like that, my favorite song by Cascade, one of my favorites to run to, is Angel on My Shoulder. Go look it up. It's a great song, especially if you work it out, or if you work out, add this to your workout playlist. And it talks about having an angel on my shoulder, but a devil in my head. That kind of thing. You know, you guys have a lot of power. You know, the devil is not negative. It's like you have so much power, and it's just releasing the shackles in a way so that power can actually be utilized in a way that is serving, not for you, serving for the whole, serving for the collective. Because the devil is when we're focusing on self. It's like, gosh, it's like that saying of like self-consciousness. I don't know if this is the saying, but this is something I learned years ago, where self-consciousness is just like self-awareness filtered through like a lack belief. I'll say that again. Self-consciousness, like in being insecure about yourself, is like awareness of self, but filtered through a lack belief, you know, that kind of thing. And so when we release ourselves from being like overly focused on self because we're committed to a life of service, that like really sets us free in a big way. And we see how it's like, oh, you know, it's mostly in your head. It really is, this untapped potential, and why it feels so like, why we feel limiting. It's so interesting. Like, it is such a journey of the freaking mind, you guys. But there's a lot of energy that is, I feel like, maybe being eaten up by doubt, or maybe being eaten up by like, oh, could this really work? And know that that's, again, that's the Chariot and the Strength. Those are the ultimate cards for inner and outer obstacles. Okay, so I'm really getting that there might even be outer obstacles that are manifesting, maybe even like self-sabotage tendencies. Like when something starts to get good, do you tend to self-sabotage? You know, like when you have a good idea, do you tell that idea to someone that you know is not going to support it? Because, you know, you're setting yourself up to self-sabotage that idea. It's like, you already know this person is not the right audience to share this with. Why would you share it with them? That kind of thing, okay? And so knowing that this is part of the journey, we always think, or sometimes we think that it's about what I'm supposed to do, right? And it's always about setting ourselves free, right? The more free we become, the more permission we give other people to do the same. And so the more that you are just being like, fuck it, like I'm not going to take my cues from like this, you know, this shackling energy, the more that you're just going to become free, right? And the more that everyone is celebrating with you. And yeah, this is very beautiful. And I just like can't reiterate enough that I feel like you guys really have good ideas. You have a really good, solid connection to your higher self. And it's just about executing on those things that you're getting in your visions, and not convincing yourself that it's too good to be true, right? Those, just being aware of those inner voices, and how they're just maybe keeping you in a spot you don't want to stay in. There's a Chariot again, you guys. Okay, I always do that. Like, I always like go on, and then it's always like the last card just really drives the point home. Okay, so yeah, I feel like this is like just knowing what you want and just being relentless about it. You know, like just not caring about what the timelines are, not caring about, like, make it a statement of your devotion to becoming the best version of yourself. Like, one of the reasons I do the things that I do is, yes, absolutely, I love to help other people. And also, I just notice the more that I do it, and I do those things that like scare me, and I lean into those things that I'm like, wow, could this really be true? And I just do it anyways. It's because I want to be free. It's because I don't want this to run my life. And the more excited I become and the more free I become, it's like, oh my God, I want to share this with other people. It's just naturally part of tuning more into the eye of God, seeing more through the eyes of God, turning more on those light frequencies, those source codes within your being, is because you feel the oneness in other people, and you're like, yes, fuck yes, let's all get free together. Okay, so how to bring this calling into business? It's just going for it. Is it in alignment with your why? Does it feel exciting? You know, is it maybe even something that's been coming up over and over again? And just go for it. And don't be afraid of starting one thing and then it changing. Like, I've changed my thing many times, like from making jewelry to being a fitness instructor online and in person to, you know, it might change before you really feel like you're locked into something, but it's a process for a reason, okay? And you're learning tools along the way yeah, I've learned something from every one of those things along the way that I'm like, wow, I really see how this set me up for this. I really see how this set me up for this. And it's incredible. And you can really trust the serendipitous nature of this unfolding reality. So what products and services could you offer? We have See Your Seeds Grow. We have Sun, Enjoy Success and Happiness. And we have See from a Higher Perspective. So, it's interesting. We have a lot about the sun and spring. Let's see. So I feel like this is really getting creative and being unique, right? Especially with the See from a Higher Perspective. I feel like this is not getting so trapped in how it's worked for other people maybe, and just taking something and running with it. And I feel like at this point, I'm going to get a little bit deeper with the tarot, but I feel like at this point, Spirit is like, just do something, you know, even if you're already on this path and maybe it's feeling like, you know, it feels like you just want to go in a new direction, or it feels like you're just ready to grow, right? We're always going to have this desire to continue to grow, to continue to expand, no matter if we're just getting started in something or if we've been in it for a while. So this applies to, you know, there's a new season, right? There's a new beginning for sure. That is around the horizon, and maybe even something that you've been considering, or something that is like, you're like, okay, this feels like it's in alignment with my why. I've already been doing, even if you're already successful in a certain industry and you've been like, hey, how can I like bring my community together even more? How can I even, you know, how can I get more involved? How can I really how can I just take this to the next level kind of thing? Or even if you're just beginning, it's like taking whatever that you've been maybe getting in meditation and running with it. So what products and services? Let's see. It's something that is uplifting and helping get people in alignment with their own divine vision. Let's see. Okay, we have the Moon. We have the King of Wands. We have the Three of Wands. And we have the High Priestess. Yeah, so I feel like this is something that's been very intuitive. It's a new direction. There's so much intuition here with the Moon and the High Priestess. And, you know, I was already feeling this before I even turned over these cards. But this is one of those things that your guides really want you to learn how to trust your own inner self. Okay, but if anything, take this reading as a confirmation that whatever nudges and exciting ventures you've been, like, wondering about, it's time to just go for it. Okay, and I feel like you're going to see your seeds grow. You're going to see a manifestation very quickly by going on this new adventure, by leaning into this new direction. You're going to see something really quickly. And I feel like, you know, for me, even when you start to gain momentum, right? So if you're just starting off on this journey, it seems weird. It seems like there's a lot of imposter syndrome. It's like, what am I doing? But the more that you just like get used to just like doing it and putting your work out there because you know it's what you're here to do, that justice energy, it's like doing the right thing, showing up for your divine assignments, the more it's just you build momentum and getting okay. You just get better at like taking those risks. You get better at launching something, and more it becomes more and more successful. You just get more used to this game and it becomes really enjoyable. And so if you've been doing this for a while, I feel like this is saying, you know, go for it. You know, you're going to reap good success. I feel like it's going to work out. It's going to turn out better than you anticipated. But I am getting the sense that in terms of like, I really wanted to do this so I could get like tangible things for you guys to work on. But this is something that I'm hearing and I'm seeing that you guys have been getting, you're only going to get your next step. And that's something that you've already been getting. That's something you've already been intuiting. And to act on that step that you have received already in vision and meditation. You know, the Hierophant is about seeking wisdom without. The High Priestess is seeking wisdom from within. And this is telling me that you have been getting some good ideas and it has potential to be really successful. I'm telling you. Or it's at the very least, it's merging you with that timeline. You know, take it from someone that's like started things and ended things. I feel like I've always been on this timeline though, you know, of knowing that I'm moving in the right direction, okay, with that King of Wands energy. So just being, you know, the ultimate entrepreneur is someone that, you know, it just sees it as a game and risk is the name of it, you know, and Is it really a risk? What's the greatest risk? Like never seeing what could have been and knowing you had so much potential within you. That's the greatest risk in my opinion. But I do feel like this is saying, what products and services could you offer? It's like the thing that has been coming through and like intuitively and leaning into it, and watching those grow and giving it a chance to actually grow. Okay. And something about, being creative with the process. So, excuse me, what can group 2 focus on in the next couple months? We have 6th house, sustainability. Okay. So very practical Virgoan energy. All right, I'm seeing more here about meditation. I'm seeing more here about like it's time. Like I'm also saying this as the Wheel of Fortune. It's time. It's really time to like make this something that is not just in the ethers. That's not just existing in your mind and in your imagination, and like creating something that has the potential to be very sustainable. Okay, like this is aligning with that in your meditations. Asking in your meditations. What can I offer? Asking what does it look like when I'm not just in my power? What does it feel like when I'm in my power? But what am I doing? Receiving that and then taking the practical steps to do it, to bridge that gap even further. Yeah, we'll get more as we go. We have Pisces and we have strength. We are dignified with strength. So we have Pisces with sensitize and dignified with strength. So it might be something too that, or what to focus on. I feel like it's a merging of things that maybe you feel like wouldn't necessarily go together, because I am noticing that we have Virgoan energy over here and Pisces, which are opposites. So I feel like this is really, and we have more of that Pisces energy that came up with the High Priestess and the very intuitive nature with the Moon card. Okay, so what to focus on the next 1 to 2 months. So again, it's coming back to what is in alignment with your why. And, there's that saying about your vocation is where your gifts and talents meet what the world needs, and leaning into that. So again, for an example, so the world needs calm, right? The world needs more of how to connect to my intuition. How do we go into ourselves? How do we really quiet the egoic mind down in order to hear the voice of the soul? That's what I believe the world needs more of. And I am a walking testimony of 7 years meditating, 5 years breath work, of what that can do. And so that's what the world needs. That's what I'm good at. That's what I'm naturally intuitively drawn to. So, that's what I'm going to lean into. There's something like that for you. And it's changed in the past. So I'm really hearing to just be practical about what it is for you now, and to not get so lost. That devil energy kind of is like the energy of you're running a loop. And the Moon can be like this too, where it's like you're getting so lost and wanting to see long term how something is going to pan out, but that's not how a plant grows. That's not how a tree grows. It doesn't just appear. It starts off as a tiny freaking seed, and having the right elements to nurture it. And so, sustainably speaking, what are the right elements that you need to nurture this vision? What do you need to actually physically start to do in order to make this happen? Is it to start, is it to make your website, or at least to start to draw out your website? Is it to start that YouTube channel and, start, reading the cards, researching about the cards? Or, what is it for you? Is it to take that course, take that thing that's going to launch you into even further? Because a lot of you guys are very intuitive with things already. Your soul has, a lot of old souls come to my channel, and your soul has expertise in certain areas. So what areas of expertise does your soul already have? And are there any ways that you can polish up on that in this lifetime by taking a course, by, seeing a mentor or something like that? But there's something here about, again, I've said this in other readings, but what I love about this is there's so much here about expression, because I'm about to use this example again, but a dignified placement is like, my Mercury is in Virgo. So that's a dignified placement, because Mercury or Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Something that might not be dignified is like, let me think of, if it was like my Mercury is in what, Pisces or something. I don't know, but that might just not be a good example. But that's all to say that you're doing something, you're focusing on the next 1 to 2 months on something that you're naturally really good at. It falls in alignment with your why. It's very practical. It's something that either you have thought about for a while or you've been receiving it intuitively for a while. Maybe there's just some fear of like, could this actually work? And it's like, luck is on your side. The wheels are changing. And to allow yourself to be in this feminine energy, this feminine flow. Okay, so I want to get a little bit deeper here. Of being sensitive, you know, to the directions that spirit is like trying to lead you in, and heeding that call. What to focus on the next 1 to 2 months, please, for group 2. Yeah, don't think about how long it's going to take. Don't think about how much work, how long you have. It's like, I feel like you guys might be looking at the whole journey, and it's kind of making you a little bit like, can I really do that? You know, and I feel like if anyone that is successful, or, you know, however they define success, or the people that have really gone after what it is that, you know, started off one time as a vision or as a hope or a dream, I feel like if they would probably say, if I would have focused on the whole thing, I never would have gotten started. But it's just about taking that small step in that right direction. Okay, so focusing on too much on like what it's going to look like or how far you have to go is not serving you. That's more of the devil energy. We have the 7 of Wands. So it's picking something and sticking with it. Okay. Pick one thing and stick with it is what I'm getting. And really getting in the energy of being in your soul signature, really getting more in the energy of like even more expansion, right? Not getting stagnant, continuing to grow, continuing to see yourself grow. And the sun. We have more of the sun. Okay, this is beautiful because I feel like it's really about being optimistic, really about being positive, really being about like, you know, what has really changed for me, especially, is that it is such a night and day difference, or it's such a different experience when you're around people that are actually in this path. Right? When you're around more and more people that are like actually living that abundant life, doing what they love. I just saw 33 on the clock, doing what they love and seeing how easy it is, seeing how effortless it is. Maybe it didn't start off that way, but it gets that way, I promise. And the more that I'm around people, the more that I've kind of just like put my nose down, know this is what I'm here for, this is what I'm moving towards, the more that I naturally have called in people that they're like flourishing. And they've completely stepped out of the matrix and they live life on their own terms, you know? And so maybe part of like this, what you're focusing on is maybe taking some space from the naysayers, taking some space from whatever is feeding your mind and your energy and saying it's not possible and saying that, oh, for some people maybe, but not for you. That's bullshit. You know, you make the rules. And if you feel like you're naturally guided to have this wellness business and you have, especially for some time, or this side hustle or this thing, this, you know, that can really create a new relationship to abundance on every level for you and your future descendants, don't question that. You know, do not think that it's not possible for you. That was not seated in your heart for no reason. Okay, so lastly, what is the future potential of this? Prince of Pentacles, slow and steady, promising, devotion to the path, right? We have 10 of Cups. There's more of that community, dancing with people, soul family. Really feel this is like true fulfillment, right? Not only have you fulfilled your own self and really shown yourself, proven to yourself, right? I just read this in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, translated by Swami Satchidananda. Okay, and he was saying that, you know, on the path, it's a book essentially about how to attain yoga. And yoga is really what the traditional meaning of yoga is, the science of the mind. And so essentially it's all about, if you can control your mind, you have attained yoga. And yoga is bliss. Yoga is ecstasy. Yoga is, I am divinity incarnate. I am God on this planet. And it sounds so simple, you know, but how challenging is that? Right. And so essentially this translation was saying how one of the sutras was about, you're going to meet challenges, but that's how we realize our power, right? This whole spread with the Chariot coming up twice and the Strength is so much about overcoming your own challenges, because I feel like you guys got it like going on. And it's not to say that, I don't know, I just feel like I'm getting the sense that in this case, you guys are your own worst enemy. regardless of what level of success you've already attained. You could already have like 300,000 followers or something, but something might feel off. Because did you sacrifice any of your integrity along the way with that Justice card? Integrity is really important to you, okay? Balance, equality, really important to you. And so this is where the person is made. The challenges are supposed to be there. It's like when you see a river, right? If the river didn't have the dam, you wouldn't be able to tell how much of a powerful force it brings to the table, right? And how much it can, like electricity and power it can generate. And so that's what those challenges are here for. Okay, and this is meant to be blissful. The Four of Swords coming up again. So there's so much here about, regardless of what happens, regardless of what comes up, it's like you will have, it's really about meeting everything in life with a sense of, it's all going to be good, right? An equanimous mind. Whether I think it's good, whether I think it's bad. This is, again, your guides are reiterating, it's less about the thing, and it's more about you attaining that state of emotional resiliency where your sense of well-being does not rely on what's happening out there. And the more free you become, naturally what's happening out there is going to get good. And it's going to be something that I feel like by the time it starts to really catch speed, you're at a place of integrity that you can handle it. So yeah, it's overcoming this. I feel like the future potential of this business is really shining a light on those parts of yourself. Like the Eight of Swords, like traditionally it's like she could just take it all off, right? That sounds weird, but it's not rooted in reality. The fears are not rooted in reality, okay? But I feel like it's really a space to where the only way to get over these things is to go through them. And there's no dancing around. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we haven't fully leaned into it with that devil energy is that it's going to require you to face some aspects of yourself that might have been met with a lot of shame in the past. And lastly, love, soulmate connections. Okay, that's being really highlighted here. Okay, but it's like, what's the saying? No guts, no glory. All right, and so this is going to take everything you have. But the return on investment, my friends, is so worth it. So I feel that this is really saying to not think that all of your problems will be solved once this business is taking off. That's not what it's about. But it's about falling in love with the journey, and it's really about trusting yourself above anything else. Okay, knowing that the ebbs and flows are part of the journey. And that's a big part of what you're here to help with, is help people undo their karma. And so, of course, you're going to be met with a lot of those. I am seeing so much about like just someone that is really good at overcoming those things. Okay, and that is really good on speaking on it and really eloquent, or eloquent, is that the word? Can eloquently talk about this process and to be a really powerful force of change in whatever like unique niche this is taking place in. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now. If this resonated with you today, go ahead and leave that sun emoji in the comment section. Give this video a like if you resonated with it, and I hope to see you again soon. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading. I'm so excited for this reading and to extend this to you guys. This is a deep dive into your wellness business. And regardless of what stage you're entering this at, whether you are well established in your industry and you're looking for confirmation, or maybe you've been like thinking, I should start something new, or should I branch off in this direction, or whether you're just really like just beginning in terms of like, I've awakened, and how do I really start to align even more to where I'm not compartmentalizing my journey, but I'm really being an usher and a steward of new earth, and knowing that my heart tells me that there's a different way to exist that is in alignment in all facets, in all areas with my soul's calling, and you're not hiding any part of yourself. Not saying if you are like living a life where it feels like you're doing that as negative or anything, but the people that are drawn to my channel mostly are people that I notice really want it all, right? Like we walk our talk, all right? And we are living beacons, living testimonies of what's possible when we let the soul be the guide, and we surrender the ego, and we surrender that, chattery mind that, is just at the end of the day trying to protect us, but ends up sabotaging everything good in our life. Okay, so that's my little intro. You can stick around as I shuffle, or you can head into the description box and just skip right to the reading. So we're going to start off with the group of guides that are overseeing the group of souls drawn to this group today. Please tell us, what is their purpose and their calling? For group 3, what is their purpose and calling in this life? Clear, concise, accurate messages. Okay. Now, please, Spirit, we are wondering, how can they bring their calling into business? How can they bring this calling into their business, please? Calling into their business. Or into manifestation. Anything else? This one wants to come up. All right. Now we're asking, what products and services could group number 3 offer? What products and services could group number 3 offer? What products and services do they offer? Okay, next is, what should group number 3 focus on the next 1 to 2 months? What should group number 3 focus on to align with this even more? What could they focus on the next 1 to 2 months? They focus on, please. Anything else want to come up? You're just going to give me one, huh? Okay, we're just taking one, I guess. And lastly, the future potential of this business. What is the future potential of aligning with this business? This wellness business. Okay, so let's do it. What is group number 3's calling and their purpose? Activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. You know, the guides have been like this in all these groups. And I notice the people that work with me one-on-one too, it's like, your guides are really at a point to where they don't want you to look so much to your tarot readers. They don't want you to look so much outside. If anything, you're utilizing it as confirmation of like the directions you already know that you should go deep down. But there's so much that's been coming through about y'all just need to trust, okay? Because you guys are here to be the way showers for people that like, there's people waking up. Like I just had someone on TikTok. I have this all the time saying like, I just had my awakening. You know, I'm learning about all of this stuff. Like, you guys have been on this path for some time. You know, some of you might be new as well, but I'm just hearing that we're just at a point where we just need to trust where we're being led. Okay, and so this could also be saying that you guys have a lot of like kind of mutable energy and significant placements in your chart. So like Gemini, Virgo, Sag, Pisces, like you're kind of always like on the move. You don't really stick around one place too long. You grow a lot, you learn a lot, you learn quickly, I mean, and so that's why you're kind of always moving and grooving, okay? I'm also getting like cardinal energy, so like Aries energy, Cancerian, Libra, Capricorn, okay, or any of those houses as well. And the great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. Excuse me. So this is really polarizing kind of energy because we have like the soft feminine over here, and then we have like the heightened powerful masculine coming through as well. So a big part is like taking your pain, taking your suffering in this life, and you're making magic with it, right? It's like whatever you've been through that has like really pissed you off in life, or like, gosh, why does it have to be like this? Like for me, one of those things is just seeing how the systems like just don't give an F about humanity. I'm not saying everyone in them is like that, everyone that works for the systems, but when I really take a step back and when I really just get a good assessment, it's like, this shit is not it. And wanting to be a positive change, wanting to in whatever way that I have available, start to rewrite a script and start to put out a different frequency of possibility. And I do that by embodying it, right? I do that by showing up for my divine assignment. So your purpose and calling is about trusting those areas that were hard for you, and trusting, that could look like so many different things, but I'm hearing that it has to do with what your early experiences were growing up. And a lot of the time, our greatest karmas and our greatest insecurities, our biggest challenges are somehow deeply linked to our destiny. And so it's only by overcoming those things and really addressing them that it's like the carrot on the stick. It's like you want your destiny, you want all the fulfillment, you got to go through, that internal conflict. You got to go through, you got to deal with that anger. You got to deal with those parts of yourself that are hard to address, that are hard to look at. Okay, but I am hearing there's something significant about what you witnessed growing up, what you went through growing up. And somehow it's like that is your fuel of like why you are not going to settle and why you are not going to let anyone else try to tell you how it is. Okay. So this is like a really powerful, like I heard someone today saying that being sassy isn't loving, and I couldn't agree less. Like I don't think that's necessarily it. I feel like sometimes like the most loving thing is like, Shiva, that Shiva energy is like destruction, but it's divine destruction, and it's that powerful, like, I will destroy everything that does not feel like it's in integrity with the Dharma, right? And so that kind of thing, like very feisty, fiery, but also very grounded and activated, right? There's a lot of like going after what the hell I want. Nothing's going to get in the way. And that might be something that people say about you too, is like, wow, this person just like knows what they want and they go for it. Nothing really stops them. Okay. But yeah, you have power places in your chart. You're like you really are a powerful individual. So purpose for group number 3. What is their purpose? And again, the purpose can change. I mean, the purpose doesn't change. How it looks might change, but your calling will always stay the same in this life. It's not been an easy journey for you, right? And, the souls that signed up to do a lot of work in this life, and that honestly just signed up as like to help humanity out, that didn't even have their own karma, right? It's like they are carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, but it's like, it can seem like that, or it can be like, wow, this person has gone through so much, but that is really telling of the power of their soul, right? Nothing gets in the way of the chariot, right? This is someone that's able to bulldoze through whatever is thrown at them. And I am getting more confirmation here that you guys have probably been through a lot. It's not been an easy journey for you. You've gone through a lot of changes, maybe changes that you didn't even want to. Maybe you moved a lot when you were a kid. Maybe you felt like you had no sense of sturdy foundation. And maybe you felt like you had to be the child or the parent to your own parent. And you felt like and you were robbed of some things, and that left you feeling like you didn't want that other people to go through that. And it's like, how can we help sever this type of energy where it's just like neglect and negativity just like continuing throughout generations. So we have the 9 of Wands. Yeah, you guys have been through a lot and working a lot. Your calling and purpose, I feel like it's really saying that, not that it ever comes easier to anyone, but sometimes it just seems like other people just like lock into it so much sooner. So I feel like this is a group where maybe you've felt like you've been on the journey for some time, or this is really saying before you really lock into your thing, you're going to have tried many different things. You're going to have given up at some points probably, or wanted to give up at some points probably. But it's all for a reason that will make sense when you get there. We have the Queen of Wands, ultimate sense of like magnetism. Things just come to you. So this is like, in terms of your soul's purpose and your calling, I feel like it's ideas just come to you, and it's a matter of like, does this fit? Does this feel right? Does this feel like a direction that I should go in? Does this feel like, it's kind of like a yes or a no. The King is more of like, I'm going to go out and like figure it out. And the Queen of Wands is like, I'm going to see if this fits. And once I've like, it comes to me and it feels like a yes, there's nothing that's going to stop me, right? It's like, I feel like you would have friends that would say, when this person decides on something, they really, they just go after it. And yeah, there's a lot here about inner child healing, helping other people heal their inner child, but just restoring the innocence into your life and releasing these boundaries, releasing protection mechanisms, okay? The calloused parts of the heart. So how to bring this into your business, this calling. Co-create with your higher self. All right. We have breathe, connecting. Okay, so settling your mind. Yeah, I am feeling that you guys might have a disturbed nervous system. Welcome to Earth with peace and love. I don't say that like in a really like, I don't know. I don't mean to sound any type of way when I say that, but it's like honestly part of just being on this planet. But also I can say that if you have had some disturbances growing up, which I was seeing confirmed over and over again in this section, then it's really imperative that we start to heal that nervous system, and just be paying more attention to the breath, going into meditation. And that's really how we start to tune into what our higher mind is, and co-create with our higher mind. Same message in different ways, you know, for each one of these groups essentially. But it's like being able to calm your mind enough and to really be able to decipher, is this just a fear that's a reverberation of like past hauntings, past, you know, things that have happened to me, or is this really where I'm supposed to be going? And, you know, it's really hard if we don't have a settled nervous system. It's challenging, you know, take it from me, I get it. It can be challenging. And so really calming the nervous system to hear it is going to be your best bet. Time for a nap. Okay, there's so much here about like, okay, so how you're going to bring this into business. It's not going to be like, you know, with the Queen of Wands, it's creative. It's like someone who's mature. It's someone that is successful. But the Queen of Wands is no sweat. It comes to her. Okay, so there's so much here about it's going to come to you, and it's not going to come to you when you're tripping about it. It's not going to come to you when, and it's going to feel like, it's going to feel easy. And what I mean by that is like, in some senses, the hardest part of this journey for me, you guys, has been just feeling like I have enough confidence to do it. It hasn't been about the actual thing, you know, the situations or like the opportunities have always just fallen into my lap. And the hardest part for me is like feeling like confident enough to just like own the role. But I've always done it. And has it been freaking debilitating and humiliating at times? Absolutely. But you start to develop momentum, and it's meant to be something that is like, wow, this feels like so natural. This is a natural extension of me. This is like, you know, I don't have to work my ass off like so many people believe. I have to trade my entire life just to survive. You know, this is where you're really this is like the perfect, like the empath's business of like, your well-being is tied to the success of this. And so your well-being is like the first priority, and everything else kind of like takes care of itself from there. So calling it a business, please. Clear, concise, accurate messages. Wow, more of that Chariot energy. So you just got to go for it, man. You just got to grab the bull by the balls is what I'm hearing. We have Nine of Swords in reverse. We have Knight of Swords. And we have Death. I'm getting this sense of like flightiness. I'm getting this sense of like, yeah, I'm sensing that as you're restoring your nervous system. I've done this before, like, and it all works out. But I've gotten to positions where I like self-sabotaged a little bit when I started becoming really successful in an area, because it wasn't in alignment with like the narratives that my subconscious was like familiar with. Okay, and so there's some energy here about just being aware of that, being aware, and that's part of the nap and the resting and the not being in a hurry to have to prove something to yourself or to prove something to anyone. Okay, and yeah, I really feel that a big part of bringing this into business is like really transforming your relationship to creating, and really transforming your relationship to your nervous system. I'm just going to keep saying it because this is my ultimate card for it's like a house divided against itself cannot stand. That's said in the Bible. I'm not religious, but you know, every book, I feel like every book that we read for the most part can have some nugget of wisdom in it. And essentially, to me, that means you can think that you want something. You can think that something is meant for you, or that you want to go in a certain direction. But if your nervous system is telling a different story, that's like your house is divided. And so if your being, it feels like it's not safe, and it's like kind of scared in a sympathetic response, then like you're not only, oh my God, there's so many different ways. I'm learning so much about the science of all this right now, but not only are you always going to be looking for those things to confirm your worst fears, but you're always going to like see in your external world what it is that you're being most of the time, your frequency most of the time. And And even if good things start to come to you, again, there's something there about self-sabotage. So it's like not being able to sustain that reality, even when it's like you visualize your way there or something, because we haven't addressed the subconscious. And so breath work and meditation can really help address the subconscious. And so there's a transformation here of like your beingness that I feel like is really what's going to take this business to the next level. And this is so true. Like 90% of what it means to like have a successful business. And I heard this, like I feel this deeply, and I've seen this as well, like how things just really do come easily when you're just walking your talk. But this woman that I'm, working with right now, she has like a 7-figure business that, I don't know, like got there in like 2 years or something. And so something that she often says is 90% of it is what you be, and 10% is like, what you do. And so that's kind of what the message that's being reiterated here is, what you're being, okay? A transformation of your beingness. Because there was a lot of that kind of like vata, like unsettled type of energy I was getting with those cards that were coming up. So next we're going to dive into what products and services, once this is all said and done and we've settled and we're not rushing and we're not like, operating from a place of unworthiness, and we all do this to varying degrees, but once it really feels time to go, let's see what that looks like. Like, what products or services are you offering? And I wouldn't be surprised if it's something along the lines of like what you have done to calm yourself, We have Mars. There's so much Mars energy. A lot of Aries energy for sure. We have Alliance. And we have Progressions. Okay, let's get a little bit deeper. What products and services does this look like? There's something about traveling to host things, traveling to meet with other people that are in the same field as you. There's a lot here about tension and softening to the tension. So I feel like maybe even like, I just heard something about like massage therapy or something that helps calm people down. That could be breath work. That could be, whatever journey, whatever you're guided to go on your path of healing, in whatever unique way. I really feel that has to do with what products and services you're offering, okay? And it has long-term potential, what it's going to bring you. Yeah, and it's kind of, it's like the Page of Cups is like, there's this little thing of intuition. Oh, you totally can't see. There's like the fish head is like a bud of intuition. Okay, that is like peeking out and kind of trying to entice you forward. Next, we have Three of Pentacles. So I was feeling that it has something to do with working with people. What products and services? Yeah, honestly, this is pretty straightforward. I'm just hearing that whatever it is, like the Three of Pentacles is about people that have their own unique gifts and they each bring that to the table. So you might even be working in a group or working within a business or something, like an organization. Well, I guess this is mainly about you. So the head of that organization, but you're bringing in other people that are able to fill certain roles. Like if you're running retreats or something, or if you're the head of like this, a program like that you want to give out to the world, or something you want to educate the world on, and there's other people that you're bringing on board, like guest experts, or like even this could even have to do with like a podcast or something. But it's like you're visiting the places that most people are afraid to go. You're visiting those places and talking about those things that most people, it's like kind of taboo. People don't want to talk about it. People don't want to really address it because it's like so deep. It's so, like not what we talk about. It's too real. You're meeting those edges, and not only within yourself, but you're really kind of challenging other people to also meet those edges within them. You take people on a journey. This could even have to do with plant medicine or something where, if that's something that has helped you. You might even be taking people on plant medicine journeys, or, these types of retreats where you're leading like breath workshops or something, and people are traveling to you and they're like, I'm ready for this. Like, this is my person. This is someone that I want to work with. But I feel like it really is you taking the lemons that you were given in your incarnation and being like, bitch, what? Here I am, and turned out better than anyone expected, including myself. But we're not saying that to like rub it in anyone's faces, but we're saying it because you deserve it. And I feel like you're just at this point to where group number 3, it's like, I'm just ready to tell a new fucking story. All right. And it's coming. And it's like really about forgiving yourself too, right? What products and services could you offer? It's like you're offering these, what you wish that your small child with the 6 of Cups that came up could have had. You're kind of offering the world those things that you're like, God damn, if I knew this when I was ABC, if only I knew ABC when I was this age, like I tell Maya, like I breathe with her. She did breath work with me earlier this morning, and I tell her all the time, like, I'm like, if I was like, you're starting this at 7, you're going to be way beyond where I am now if you keep doing this. I was like, this is the gold. You just landed on a gold mine, because as long as you know how to breathe and meditate and connect with your innermost self, like there's nothing anyone could fucking tell you to stop you. Anything you want to do. And so I feel like that's something that's similar. It's like, you're like, if only I had this, or if only I had this realization, or if only, like, whatever, in your own unique way, whatever has been that thing for you, that's what you're gifting to the planet. And again, I do feel like it's something that's kind of taboo, and kind of like, it's utilizing those things that really angered you and that felt like they were unfair, and you're helping people get through the same thing. Okay, so what to focus on the next 1-2 months? Shall and master, be graceful in movement and action. Action. So much Mars energy. Okay, and there's a balance of the yin and the yang here. Okay, so grace, surrender, transformation with the dragon. Let's see. It's powerful because it was the only one that came up. So what to focus on? What can group 3 focus on the next couple months? Oops. Okay, I'm going to read these ones, but which one's the all around? Oops. Tower. Whatever needs to fall away, let it. You're going to be able to breathe on the other side of it. This is spirit just, I feel like, clearing things out of your life that are long overdue, maybe. Being graceful in a change that seems like a little bit unexpected or something, but I feel like I'm really getting the sense that you guys are ready for your next level, whether you're just beginning or whether it's like, again, like I've reached spaces that I was really successful in, but it wasn't fully honoring my full self, and I got to a point to where I knew it wasn't for me anymore, and I had a tower moment totally came in, and it was like I kind of knew it, because it was something that I knew if I didn't change, it was going to happen either way, and it ended up. So I feel like I'm kind of getting the same energy of like, even if you've been doing something for some time, it's just going to clear out the spaces that like really are not allowing you to be as graceful in your movement and action as you could be. We have death. Yeah. I was sensing transformation type of energy. Okay. So next, this has to do with this section. So you're focusing on the advice that your guides gave you in this section in particular, and Page of Swords. You're exploring, you're being curious. You're in a curious kind of demeanor. All right. And so, yeah, what grace is all about is grace isn't operating from the level of I have something to prove. Grace is surrendered. It's like, it's that Queen of Wands energy of, I ain't fronting, right? But once something comes to me and it feels like it's what I want, and I know this is what I'm supposed to do, nothing is going to stop me. Okay, and sometimes those things can come really suddenly. Sometimes those things will just like kind of surprise us, and we're like, wow, this, for whatever reason, it's like we get the willpower that we need to do those leaps, or to take those leaps, or to make those big changes sometimes, those big transformations, seemingly out of nowhere. But I am getting that a big part, and being reminded a big part of this graciousness is learning how to honor your feminine, because you guys have learned from whatever you went through that you had to be the masculine. You had to be the version of self, whether you're a woman or a male, it doesn't matter. But you learned that if something needed to get done, it's like, I'm getting like, you are so good at being in your masculine because you've had no choice, because it was a means to protect yourself before. And so now it's really about restoring the feminine in your life again, so that by the time it is that this thing does come and it's like, okay, you feel like it's time to like start going in this direction that your curiosity is peaked in, it's not coming from this hyper masculine needing to prove or needing to like it's not coming from a neediness, but it's coming from this really relaxed sense of just being connected to something greater than you and just knowing that this is where you're supposed to be going. Okay, so what you're focusing on the next 2 to 3 or 1 to 2 months, I feel like is really restoring the feminine, resting as much as you can, really honoring this like shedding of skin that you're going through. And I feel like something might be coming in hot that really piques your curiosity. Something's coming in very unexpectedly that makes you really curious. And when it comes in, you're going to know that I should look into this. Whether that's like a new course of study, whether that's something that has to do with like putting something out there. It's like the page is all about, this is really, I'm curious. I'm really wanting to see what this has to offer. And maybe in some way too, it's like some sort of group thing that you're in, like a group course or a group study or something that comes in hot. But I feel like it is linked to bringing this, and it's so hard to tell in just one reading, because sometimes we get a little flick of curiosity. Like, this happens so much. This is why, like, I don't question things anymore. Well, as much. I really don't. Like, the past couple times, I've been really tired to, like, and not want to go out on a day that I could, like, on a day that, my daughter can hang out with her dad. On the days where I'm like, oh, I just would rather just, like, stay in. And, like, I've had this happen so many times where I'm like, but something is just telling me I'm going to meet someone. I just know, I can just feel it. I just know I'm going to, every single time I meet someone significant. All right. And so I feel like it could be something like that, to where it's like, wow, this came in hot. This was a connection that came in hot, or this was a download that came in hot. And I'm curious about what this is. And I want to see where this might lead. And it's like some sort of connection, some sort of like something that's very significant, because you're asking. Ask and it is given. Knock and the door shall be opened. Okay. But there's a lot when you do get that, when it is time to act, you're acting from the feminine. Okay. And you're really giving yourself permission. The feminine is about just being with it. It's just about feeling. The masculine is like, I got to fix. But you've got that under control. Like, you've got control under control. You've literally have had no choice. But now it's really time to balance, to harmonize, and to really get in your feminine essence. And I'm hearing that a lot of you guys, you're ready. And so this transformation, you've been working your way up to it. And so it's going to feel so good. You're like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay. So letting yourself get to that space. Okay. So next we're going to get into what is the future potential of this business. The Chariot, Queen of Cups, 4 Pentacles, the Hierophant, Wisdom, people feeling like, it doesn't even matter what people feel like, but I just feel like you're a person that people look up to, that people seek advice from. Yeah, this is like a counselor or someone, the Hierophant is like the person that people look to for their spiritual advice. Okay, advising other people in some way is part of it. So like and this is like not even just like, a cute little someone that gives advice, like the Page of Swords or, the Knight of Swords. This is someone that is really deeply rooted in their wisdom, really deeply rooted in their craft. And again, the best teachers for anything are the people that have actually gone through it, that have gone through the trials and tribulations of whatever it is that they're trying to help other people with. The future potential of this business, it's not going to be easy. Maybe at first, but this is someone that, again, I love that this version of the Chariot card is they're looking within, right? This Cancerian energy. I'm going within before I make a decision without. So it's like letting the divine feminine run the show, and then utilizing your naturally gifted masculine capabilities of seeing what you want and fucking, bulldozing your way through anything that might get in the way of that is going to pay off. But it's coming from the place of you're now taking your orders from your healed inner child versus the wounded inner child. The future potential is someone that's very intuitive. Again, the divine feminine is leading the show. Someone that seems to make the right move at the right time. And this is telling me there's a short-term investment. It's like, this is a short-term thing. In early incarnation, the things that you had to go through, that I'm not saying were not painful, but that's behind you. And it's going to have long-term pay, long-term benefits. This is really saying if that thing that you're focusing on the next 1 to 2 months, this is really telling me that this is about investing. And so this is about taking a bet on yourself. And this could even be saying that you might even be like, okay, the future potential of this business might mean that I have to hire a breath coach. Hi, I'm here. Or I might have to hire someone that is like a business mentor. There might be some sort of investment that I have to make that's going to help me be calm. That's going to help me tune into my intuition, or someone that's already good at this, but it's going to have long-term payoff. Counselor, therapy, something, but the future potential is that it's looking good. Okay, and what you invested in, what you had to go through was all worth it, because you're left in this gracious, I'm even seeing this, see this like swirl, reminds me of this dragon. The graceful in movement and action. Things just come to you. The divine feminine leading the show. This is really what our world, what New Earth is all about, what we're moving into, is to see that we can create from a place of ease. When we're creating when we're the true co-creator, it's all ease. And, the things that I have done in the past few years, the parts of my businesses that I've done, the ways that I've like really started to grow a following, and not even about a following, but just like growing true relationships and people that like share in the Dharma with, and, my own satsang, which is like a spiritual community. These are the things that I've done to get me here so far have come to me in meditation. They've come to me when I've been not trying to search for it, but when I've like been really relaxed, and when I've, the feminine is creative. The divine feminine is the creative capacity. So if we're not tuning into that divine creativity, where are we creating from? We're just creating more of what's already been done, or what other people think is possible. All right. So the future potential is that, you're a mentor, you're seeking mentorship in some way, you're getting mentorship, you're getting some sort of coach to help you calm down, to help you settle into your nervous system, because you guys I feel like this group doesn't really have a problem with acting. The group before really was stifled in terms of like, they didn't know how to just get going, right? But I feel like you guys know how to get going. You guys know how to like jump into it. You guys are really comfortable in creating, like the masculine, I mean. You're really comfortable in like taking charge, right? That Aries, Cancer is coming through a lot, Libra, Capricorn, like really starting something and moving with it, and ebbing and flowing, and like being mutable with it, and going with the changes, but never really giving up. You guys are really good at that masculine force. And I feel like what's going to really, and I've seen this, I can speak to this too, what is really going to take things off for you guys even more than it already is, no matter what stage that you're at, is like, I'm the testimony that starting to breathe, starting to meditate, calming the nervous system, like, oh my goodness, this is one of those things where I'm like, if only I knew, but being gracious with myself and knowing every part of my journey was like necessary, right? Progressions. But I can't attest enough how easy it becomes, and how it's like, oh my gosh, like really all I had to do was this. And this is like, I'm getting downloads like this. All I had to do was this, and like things just are just so easily are created for me. All I had to do is this, And a big part of my journey as well has been trust in the divine feminine as well, because I'm also very comfortable in my masculine energy. And whenever it comes to being vulnerable, feeling safe to be vulnerable and seen and just nurtured, for my own stuff growing up, it's like, we don't go there. But that's where we need to go, because that's where success is waiting on the other side of that. Like the type of success that is just going to blow your socks off, man. It's waiting, and you deserve it, and I feel like you're really going to be a leader in the fields. Like I'm seeing big leader energy here. in whatever you're doing, whatever fields you're in. It's like people will follow you where you go, you know, that kind of thing, because they trust you and because they feel your passion, they feel your fire, and you're just real and you have the heart for people. That came through in the very beginning. You really care about what happens to people. You really care about everyone winning. You really care about fucking people. And we need people like that as leaders more than ever, you know. So this was such a beautiful reading. Thank you for letting me do this. I mean, if this was your, what do we even do? If this was your reading today, go ahead and leave that little breathing, that yoga guy down below, or yoga person down below. And thanks for joining me today, and give this video a thumbs up if it did resonate. And I hope to see you on my channel soon. Much love, Pile 3.